Alright guys, I thought I'd take a minute to show you guys what I decided on for these cabinets on the right side of the miter saw station. Over there on the left I did the drawers, and I'm going to do some cubbies up top for where I have the cordless screw gun and where I have the cordless screw guns and the cordless skill saw. Over here I decided I'm going to do a cubby system also. I feel like I have plenty of drawers between this setup, down low, over against the wall there, and then the bench that I have my drill press and bandsaw sitting on. So I decided not to do drawers. I'm going to do cabinets up top, and in the cabinets I'm going to make cubbies. So I already cut some of them out, some of the pieces I'm going to use. Basically it's just 1/2 inch plywood. It's got a small 15-degree angle on the top, and that just, it really doesn't add much as far as being able to get the tool out. I just felt like it looked a little bit nicer to do it that way, so that's what I'm going to do. I did do a test one right here, and basically I cut just a square pieces before I decided I was going to bevel the one edge. And on this test cut I used pocket holes to secure it in place. And it is 1/2 inch plywood, and my pocket hole jig isn't really set up for 1/2 inch, but it is working out okay. It just doesn't come out right on the center. So that's the way I'm going to do it. I'm just going to use pocket holes. They don't need to be, the dividers don't need to be overly strong. So right now what I've just done is I've taken a lot of the tools that I want to put into this cabinet, and I'm just kind of laying them out to figure out roughly where I'm going to need to put the dividers, because I kind of want to have a cubby hole for each independent item. So that's what I'm working on now, and I'll probably, after I finish shaking out my tools here, I'll get to cutting the dividers and installing. What I would like to start with to get things kicked off is I think I'm going to go ahead and put some trim to cap off some of these raw plywood edges. Once I finish up that, and it's just going to be made out of just construction grade 2x4 material that I have laying around the shop. I think I have more of those 2x2s that I use for the drawer glides. I'm going to use those, cap the edges. Once I get them capped, I am going to start with the door construction. So I want to have a door on each one of these open face cabinets. So this one here, I'm going to have a double set of doors on each one of those. Down low here in this cabinet, I'm going to have a set of doors down there, as well as the lower cabinet all the way on the left edge there. And then up top, I'm going to have a double set of doors on each one of the locations. So the battery charging location as well as the screw gun location, I want to have a set of doors on. I'm going to be, hopefully, I think what I'm going to do with those is make the door frames themselves out of 3/4 inch plywood, just standard pine plywood. And then I'm going to use, I actually came into some Lexan, which is kind of like a plexiglass type material. It's over there in the corner of the shop. I don't know if you can see it on camera here, but it's basically a clear face to it. Some type of plastic, very durable plastic. So I'm going to use that. It's 1/4 inch. It's fairly expensive if you were to go buy it. However, like I said, I came into some of it for free, so I'm going to use that. I think that'll be kind of a neat touch to have in these cabinets, some clear face doors. In lieu of those, if you're building a similar project at home, you could either use just normal plexiglass that you get at Home Depot or Menards, or you could even use probably 1/4 inch Luan, 1/4 inch MDF, any of those type of things, hardboard, stuff like that, the way I'm going to construct these doors. So I'm going to get started. Alright guys, so basically what I have here is I just made a small jig that I can fit into the corner of the cabinet door, and I measured up obviously the dimension I want the hinge cup to come up from the bottom from, and I measured in from the inside the amount I wanted the hinge cup to come in from the inside. And basically I'll just hold this on the bottom of the cabinet and the top of the cabinet. I'll drill my holes for the cups, for the cup hinges, and then I will, or the cups for the hinges, and then I will install the hinges. Next, and probably one of the final steps that I'm going to do on this thing for right now, is get some drawer fronts on some of these drawers. And what I decided to do for the drawer faces is I've got some more of this 1/2-inch MDO that I came into, that I've built most of the miter saw station out of. And what I did with this particular piece is I took it over to the planer, and I would say there's probably roughly about an 1/8 inch thick face on the wood grain side of this MDO plywood. And I took a series of three passes where I just lowered it just a 1/2 turn, and I ended up with a fairly decent finish. It's a little bit rough, but being garage cabinets, I think I'll be okay with that. It's for what it is, and it's not going to cost me anything. I'm just going to go with it. I have 2 more full 4x8 sheets of this stuff, so that should be more than enough to make these drawer faces up top and on bottom. So I've got a fair amount of these pieces of scrap laying around, cut to this particular size, left over from a gate build that I did. I just kind of did a sample. I took a chamfer bit in the router and I cut a profile on opposing corners, and I kind of like the way that this turned out. I mounted one over on one of the drawers there, so I think I'm going to go with that style, and I'm just going to mill these ones up here. ended up going out and I purchased a T-track today, just a 48-inch. I really could have used probably roughly 6 foot, because each one of these cabinets is 3 foot, so that'd give me a 6 foot length to get to the end. That said, I really don't know that I will utilize a full 6 feet if I were to put it in. I'm going to set it up to where it can receive an additional couple foot of T-track if I decide to put it in the future. But for right now, I'm just going to install the 4 feet, and I think that'll work fine for me. What I've done as far as planing the plywood down, I'm trying to utilize pieces that I have on hand, and that means I have half-inch plywood on hand, and half-inch is just a little bit too thick for this T-track. It's a Rockler T-track, so I just planed down a piece of this half-inch so it'll fit right, and I put a piece of full half-inch right up against the face of this. I'm going to do that on the other side as well. That's just to give me the clearance I need to get past the doors. So I'm going to have half-inch and then another layer of that's probably roughly 3/8 of an inch